Hello, friends. Can we make 2 videos in one day? I think we can because I feel like I didn't put that much effort into the last one. I don't know. How much is there to say, really? I just need you guys to think about stuff when you're dead and look around. Um, the buyback portion will be in the future, so it was like, I don't know. This is way more important, anyways, and that's kind of what I wanted to just like move forward into a more significant topic. The Town Portal Scroll, otherwise more commonly known as the Teleport Scroll, TP, porting, sure. I don't think that's that common, but many people take this for granted. But it's actually a key part of the game. It has shaped what you're able to do in this game. The fact that we're able to move around the map so efficiently, um, all of that has come about because of this ability to not just walk to the top lane, but I could save time and teleport there. Or I could walk top, and you know what? I was not locked away from bottom lane because I could just teleport to the bottom lane. Do many of you understand the significance of that? Because it's a lot, and it has been built into Dota, and many of us don't think about it that hard because I think there has not been a lot of like discussion on it. But that's what this is going to try to be. There's a lot of high level thought that is put into the Town Portal Scroll. A lot of high level players spend a lot of time thinking about when is it appropriate to teleport at a given time. And if you watch streams, you'll definitely have heard people say like, why would you waste your teleport going here? Like this was game losing. It comes off a little harshly probably, but it's kind of true. Now I'm no expert at this. Like there are still better players than me, but many people just don't appreciate this. So we're going to start by telling some stories, get the significance of this item going, and then we're going to go into the considerations. Now, it's very important for you to understand the significance of this item so that you'll give it its appropriate amount of thought and respect. So gather around. Come in. Get close, kids. Come here. It's story time. Now, I wasn't even playing Dota when this item got introduced. It was like 500 gold or something when it was brought into this game. I wasn't playing back then, so I don't know it too well. But eventually it got removed. I can only guess because it was busted. The ability to teleport anywhere, that's crazy. But then later in 6.0, it did get added back in. It was 135 gold at about 65-second cooldown, and I think this is when I started playing the game, sometime shortly after that. At that time, we only had 6 inventory slots. There was no backpack. There was no town portal scroll. There definitely weren't any neutral items. And, you know, we already talked about the limitations of only having 6 items. Back then, it was even stricter because there was no backpack. So, you know, you had to carry everything you needed. There was only one courier, too. So, it was way harder to get things brought to you. So, you needed to carry everything you might possibly need. And the town portal scroll was one of them. Even if you were a core and it was a late game and you could afford to spend like 5,000 on a huge item, you would still often see the teleport scroll in your inventory because it was so important to be able to move around the map quickly. It was more important than a very expensive item. Now, of course, that's why you ended up buying like boots of travel eventually, so that you would have good boots that still let you move around the map. And now you could have something else in that inventory slot. But that's like even more to the point. Like that's how important it was to have it. You had to buy another item to free up the slot. You couldn't just like get rid of it. Like some people did. You took that risk, but that came with the associated risk of knowing like, guys, I cannot teleport. We have to like move with me, or like we have to be very careful. We have to be very thoughtful of how we play the game if we don't have a teleport scroll. Now over time, because we got this backpack and because we got this dedicated town portal scroll slot, it became easier to underappreciate this item and like take it for granted. Many people don't realize that a lot of the way Dota is played, the whole concept of like split pushing, of ganking, teleporting, responding, all of that is heavily influenced by the teleport scroll. Let's tell a story about League of Legends. Ugh, I know, haha. Just kidding. Play the games you like, guys, but the fact that I'm making Dota videos and the fact that you're watching this Dota video obviously means that we like Dota a bit more, because I think it's just more fun, it's more complicated, and part of that is due to this teleport scroll. That's the story we're telling. Back when I played League of Legends, 7 or something years ago, a long time ago. There is no teleport ability for those of you that never played League of Legends. And for those of you that came from League of Legends, maybe this story will help you understand why this is such an important item and not to overlook it. There was no teleport scroll. You could, I think it was called recall back to base, and it took like 8 seconds, which could just be canceled by taking damage. It wasn't even like required to like have a stun or anything. You just had to damage someone. But it did take 8 seconds, and you could teleport back to your base. But there was no way to teleport out, except for, I think it was called a summoner spell. And it had like a 5-minute cooldown. And you had to pick it before the game. You had like 2 options, like 2 slots for summoner spells, and you could pick between some. So it was very common in a game just not to have anyone that could teleport. And even if there were, it was probably like 1 or 2 people that could on a 5-minute cooldown. And so if a fight broke out in the top lane, everyone else on the team would just like look, because it was like, I can't help you, but I'll see how you do. Are you going to survive? Are you dead? Oh, he died. Anyways, let's keep doing what we were doing in the bot lane, because there was no way to get up there. You can't teleport. This led to some things like a smaller map, right? If you have to walk everywhere, it would be boring to just spend a lot of time walking, so the map had to be a little bit smaller. It led to a lot of grouping up in that game. I know many people who take a look at it nowadays will complain. It's like, it's really boring. They always just like, they're grouped up and stuff. Well, it's because if you're off on your own, there's no way to get back to the group. You just have to be together. If a fight breaks out and you're not there, there's no way you can be there. You only really had to keep track of the jungler because he was the only one who would move in between lanes. And if he was top lane, you knew that you were safe bottom. Like, who could possibly be down here? They can't be. There's no ability to teleport. This is why Dota is so cool. When you can teleport, you could literally be off the map for 3 seconds from the top lane. You could be off the map for 3 seconds before anyone even realizes you're gone, and you could be in the bottom lane because you teleported there, and you could go gank that lane. This has led to a lot of importance on map awareness, of recognizing when someone's teleport is on cooldown. It has opened up the ability to split push by being able to, be in a different lane and then still join fights on time. All of this is around the teleport scroll. That's enough for story time. Let's get into some of the considerations of the scroll. That's it. Yeah. So here are some general considerations that we want to keep in mind when we're trying to teleport. Obviously, it can vary per game, all that usual junk. But these are some of the questions we're going to ask ourselves. First consideration, probably the most important. Do I need to accomplish something right now? For those of you that don't know, from your fountain to the top lane, the safe lane, we're hard supports. So from the fountain to the tier 1 tower, at 290 movement speed, it takes about 40 seconds to walk there. So by teleporting, you're saving yourself 37 seconds. When you teleport there, you have to be able to explain to me what you needed to do. That was so important, you had to teleport there. If you have ever teleported there and then just sat there, realize you should not have teleported. 1, really expensive, 90 gold nowadays. Cheaper than when it came out, but it's more expensive than it used to be. When it was like 50 gold, that was so fun. But now 90 gold is not nothing to a support. So first, the waste of gold. Second, you're trapped there. 90 seconds before your teleport goes up again, you cannot leave wherever you teleported. I mean, you could walk away, sure, but you can't be anywhere else quickly. You cannot help your top lane when they get ganked. You cannot help your mid laner when he gets ganked. There's a big wave mid you would love to take. Nope, you don't have your teleport. It would take you like 30 seconds to walk there. Take you like 45 to walk top. It depends on your movement speed. But that's kind of part of it. If you're a fast hero, you're more likely to be able to just walk to the bottom lane rather than teleport. And it won't take you as long. It won't take you that 40 seconds if you're like a 330 movement speed hero. But every time you teleport, when you're, say, reviewing your own games, if you see yourself teleport, I want you to look, and I want you to be able to explain to me, hypothetically, obviously, why did you need to teleport there? Why did you need to be there so quickly? Could you have walked there? What would have changed? And I recommend that. Sit there, watch what you do for 40 seconds, and see. could I have just walked to the lane? And now I would have my teleport. I would have my 90 gold. I would have my ability to be anywhere else on the map. The higher level you go, the enemy will take that into consideration. If you see the hard support teleport to the lane, then the mid laner should know, I could theoretically dive this mid laner, this enemy mid laner, for the next 90 seconds, and the 5 support could not help. Now, someone else might, like the 4, or maybe it'd be weird for the offlaner or for the carry to do it, so, are you really considering them? No, it's the 2 other supports that you're really keeping in mind. So if you see the 5 support teleport, and you can see the 4 position on the map, then you might know, hey, I could dive, and I can see if the 4 support tries to teleport in, and the 5 support literally cannot be here. And that is something I'm going to consider when I want to dive. Now, if you walk to the lane, you do multiple things for yourself. 1, you save 90 gold. 2, the enemy doesn't know where you are. They might know, he's probably walking here because we don't see him right now. But they don't know that for sure. You could have teleported, say, mid and then smoked. You could have teleported top and then smoked. You could have even teleported bottom and then you're just sitting in the trees. But they don't know where you are. I know technically you can teleport into the trees too, I suppose, but if you ever pop out before, you should, they probably know that you teleported. Not knowing where someone is a big deal in Dota. Again, because like I said, you could be anywhere. Unlike League of Legends, where, someone respawns, you have another, 20 seconds before you even have to be concerned. Because, that's how long it takes to walk to lane. But in Dota, anytime someone is off the map for 5 seconds and you don't know the status of their teleport, you have to be a little scared. Are they still bottom? Or are they top? Are they mid? I'm scared. That is what teleporting does for you. And so when you just teleport randomly, it really opens up the rest of your team to be dived, and you can't do anything to help. That's why it's really important to walk everywhere. Next, that ties into this next part. Is there something else I need to do in the next 90 seconds? So for example, if you knew that your team wanted to fight for the top outpost soon, but you teleported bottom to farm an empty lane, there's no way for you to go top. I mean, I've said that before, but we're repeating it. If you know something is going to come up, for example, outposts, runes, you have to be careful about teleporting. If runes are coming up and it's 4 minutes and you get really low, and so you decide to teleport home, guess what? You're not going to make it to the bounty runes. It's going to take you a long time to walk back out. Actually, in that case, you will kind of just make it. So let's bump it up a bit more. Let's say it's 4:20 and you decide, I'm going to teleport home. So you get back, you heal up, and it's 4 minutes and 30 seconds now. You will not make it to any of those bounty runes in time for when they spawn. But if you flip it a bit and you run home from wherever you are on the map, well, this varies. It depends where you are. Let's say you're in the middle of the map, at the T2 when you decide to teleport home and then had to run all the way out. Well, if you had run all the way home, you could then TP out, and now you could probably make it to the bounty runes. These are some of the considerations we wanted to think about in terms of teleporting. Another good example is when you see the enemy pushing a lane, and you know, hey, they're eventually going to make it to my team's tower, and then we're going to want to defend there. I should be ready to go join that fight. So I might walk to the bottom lane so I'm ready to teleport top. That is part of our considerations, because our teleport scroll does go on cooldown for 90 seconds when we use it. And we need to be aware of that. Can I bring anyone items? So this is more of a laning thing. So the safe laner, right? Because we're a hard support. This is probably what it is. When you die, let's take it back. So the carry would usually use their courier to bring them items. Level 1, the courier takes 40 seconds to get to around the tier 1 tower, depending where you're standing. About 40 seconds. But if you die and you're just going to teleport there in 3 seconds, you could bring them an item way sooner. Now, sometimes it doesn't have a huge effect. Maybe you just bring them, I don't know, slippers of agility. No, it's not really that game changing. But maybe they needed more regen and you brought that to them. That could be pretty big. They were low and they were just going to have to sit there hiding cautiously for 40 seconds until the courier got there, or you could bring them a salve, their own salve that they bought, and they dropped for you. That's pretty big. That can justify needing to teleport to a lane to bring someone items, depending on what the item is. Now, of course, if you're going to teleport to the lane anyways, it's very nice to bring those items. Just because, again, 40 seconds. It's not nothing. Having an extra agility of Slipper, it's not nothing. It's 3 more damage, a little bit of attack speed, a little bit of armor. Could help you win a very close trade, which is, again, not too common. But maybe it helps you get a couple more last hits, having a bit more damage. It never hurts. Can you refill a bottle? We covered this in the last one a bit. It probably would have made sense to cover that in this part in hindsight, but that video is already rendered, so there it is. I wouldn't teleport anywhere just to refill a bottle. If I was doing that, let me rephrase that. My mid laner has to really matter for me to refill their bottle. They need to be like doing fantastic or in a very close match where the slightest edge could push them to end up winning that lane, which could then lead to significant advantages for my team. And in that case, I might consider teleporting to the mid lane to refill their bottle, maybe even bring them an item, and then running somewhere. Because running from mid lane to back to your safe lane is not too bad, especially if you're a faster hero, as opposed to, say, teleporting top lane and then trying to run bottom. Now, that is a long time. So teleporting mid and then running bottom is usually more manageable because you could potentially ward along your way while you're traveling back. You could potentially stack a camp as well. And usually the safe lane should be okay for a bit if you, depending how it's positioned, should be okay for like the 30 seconds it takes for you to run there. Coincidentally, if you were to run to your safe lane, like we said, probably about 30 to 40 seconds. So teleporting mid in that case, and then running bottom, it would be about the same amount of time as if you had just run there. So really, they won't miss you that much in that time. Sometimes you will need to be bottom, though, right away. And that is when you can't really teleport mid to refill a bottle because it's like, oh, I need to be bottom now. These are the considerations. It would be difficult to run through every single scenario of which this matters. What I've decided to do is, because the replays are not working, I made note of like every time I teleported somewhere that I thought was useful to go over with you guys. I did that, but the replays aren't working. I think because of the battle pass. So what I've decided, we're just going to look over some pro pub games. We're going to see when they teleport. I'm just going to talk about that to demonstrate all these different examples of what we find. And I think that will push us in the right direction thinking about teleport scrolls. I totally didn't just spend 20 minutes recording things without game audio, guys. This is the first time we're going to look at Insania here, playing position 5 Warlock. And we're going to consider why he teleports in different spots. Now, we're actually starting here at the beginning of the game because we're going to see several things that we talked about in the last couple videos. And I think that's worth going through here to spend a bit more time in this, technically dedicated to the teleport video. We got some replay bugs because I have no idea. I definitely didn't rewind to record some of this stuff again. You'll notice Earth Spirit's here. He's got boots, and he's using his roll to get out of lane really quickly. Right? The game started at 1:30, and he's already up here. Insania also left the base right away, and he is only here. Oh, sorry. No boots. I knew he didn't have boots. For some reason, I was about to say it. Because of this is an example of why you get out of lane as quickly as you can. He's going to ward here. He's going to be able to see that Insania wants to ward. Now, if we actually went to his perspective, we would see that, but we're not going to do that. Insania did the best he could. This is literally as soon as he could have left his base. This is as fast as he possibly could have got on here. He's hoping that they also do what we talked about, where some people just don't leave the base soon enough. But you'll notice here in this high-level game, everyone's out of the base. Nature's Prophet is not, but that's okay because he's using Nature's Call. This is like, that's what he does. And you can see he is actively... I was going to show this later, but actually, we will. We are going to show it now because guess what? Insania is going to look at it. This is the trick we just talked about. And by just, I mean like several videos ago. I think it was under why you get out of your base. Yeah, in the Before the Horn video. Nature's Prophet is trying to do that trick to spot where the ward is. Now, I'm not sure why this one isn't working. I do, because I can see that it's like slightly out of the way. I don't know if it doesn't work with treants, or maybe this spot doesn't work the same way anymore that I thought it did. But this should be, this should have revealed that they have a ward here. So it's a little unlucky for Nature's Prophet's team.
30 seconds to showtime.
And now they're going to come up here. You'll see Insania just clicked. Sorry, I was speeding up, so maybe you didn't see it. But Insania did click Oracle to spot that he had a ward. They wanted to fight because he didn't necessarily know that they have 3 heroes up here. We can speed through this a little bit. Insania is going to die. I'll play it a little slower. Insania is clicking through his heroes. He clicked AM, he clicked Oracle again, he checked Mirana. I didn't see him check this Earth Spirit. I don't know if that was a misclick or, maybe it's time to go on. He's going to teleport. And actually, let's go back a little bit. Speed up again. Okay. He just respawned. He's here in Fountain. He has 290 move speed. You might recall that I've said that with 290 move speed, it takes 40 seconds to walk to about here on the safe lane tower. So, if he walked, he would get here at 43 seconds. Let us keep that time in mind and see what could have been possible in that time. This guy just sacrificed himself. That's pretty normal. When they're that low, you just deny yourself to a tower when no one else is near, and you don't give them as much. I don't think you give experience, and you don't give, you still give some gold, but I think you don't get the assist gold that you usually do. They kind of changed some of that recently, and I admit, I don't know it all. Let that be a lesson. You don't need to know everything to make it to Immortal, but I should know it. Ugh. I'll review it after this, I swear. That's my homework. Earth Spirit, for whatever reason, maybe he wasn't sure, and then someone pointed it out to him. He's in the same situation as Oracle, where he's kind of low, right? Technically, if he used all his tangos, he'd be back at full health, but he would barely have any mana. He could probably cast Rolling Boulder once. So it's not very useful to stay in lane like this. Now, if he teleported home when this came up, and then walked back, he has boots, and he has roll, but, it would still take him quite a bit to get up here. If he ran back and then teleported, it'd be kind of about the same. So he tries to suicide here, but let's get back to Insania's perspective. Insania teleports here, not because he necessarily knew. Actually, I think he did, because of his... Oh, his ward's already been dewarded. So he didn't know this guy was going to come here to suicide. But if you think about, like we just saw Oracle suicide, this is a high possibility that he's going to do this. Why else might he need to teleport here? Right, let's think about our first consideration. What do I have to do right now? The whole reason you place this ward is so that you can spot... There's multiple reasons, but one of them is that so you can spot how much the enemy team is blocking their creeps. Sorry, let's play this a bit so this sound doesn't keep going. So that you can spot them blocking their creeps. Remember when he spawned, the creeps were already up, and they were around here, which means there's no physical way he would ever catch up to them to body block them if he needed to. But by teleporting here, and you'll notice he teleported as soon as possible, and he's here, which means if he had teleported to this tier 2 tower, he never would have made it in front of these creeps. He has now put himself in a position where he could body block the creeps if he sees them doing that too. Now, it is a little unlikely because, like we saw, they did gank him here, and it was pretty close to the time when creep spawned, so it's unlikely these guys are going to be able to get off much of a body block. But that is part of the consideration, is that I can body block. And then we also see this guy that we just talked about, where maybe he will try to suicide, and, he didn't just try to suicide here, so if he's going to do it, it's going to be at this tower. It probably should have been here. I don't know why he didn't, but... No, wait, this ward? I'm so confused. I don't know if this is a replay bug or not. I can't tell if maybe he did see him here or not. Looking at the minimap, the ward is still there, so I don't know. But being here potentially delays this. And this guy would have died already, right? If this teleport hadn't come in, he would have died at around this time. But instead, look how much longer this takes. He has to run down here. Finally dies here, 10 seconds later than when he could have died up here. It's going to take him 12 seconds to respawn. And then he's going to take 3 seconds to teleport up here. And then the time it takes to walk up here, probably around 45 seconds, right, before he's in this area. Let's pay attention to what happens in the game before then. Insania now knows this guy just died. He knows Oracle's going to be bottom. Why would the position 5 come top again? Plus, you can see that only Mirana's up here with this ward. It is time to harass this enemy offlaner. Let's pay attention to some of the XPs as well, because they did get that kill. So they all share a bit of that XP. But because she is by herself, he can come up here and harass her like this, where the Earth Spirit is not. Notice I said at around 45 seconds is when Earth Spirit will respawn, be able to teleport, and then run back up here. That means if he had died 10 seconds sooner at this first tower, he would be here already. And chasing around Mirana like this would not be possible. Let's watch. Chase him around. He just teleported in. Yeah, like we said, by the time he finally gets here... Oh, that's why. I'm so dumb. This was their own ward. This is Insania's ward. I was mixing up in my head. So yeah, Insania definitely didn't see this guy walking into suicide. And that's why he now plays the sentry, because he saw Insania walk this way with the ward. They got a good amount of harass on Mirana. You're going to see this guy gets all 4 last hits and 2 denies because it was a 2v1 lane, because it took him 10 seconds longer to suicide and then return to lane. All of this because he was able to teleport here and didn't waste any time walking. So in this case, it was a good teleport. And for many of you, if you die before the bounty rune spawns, it probably is worthwhile to teleport. The exception is if you die soon enough, probably around 30 seconds, counting down backwards still. If you die at 30 seconds, by the time you respawn, you probably do have time to walk over here, and you would be around the same pace as the creeps. And you could get to lane normally. But that reminds me. 45 seconds at this point. This is where we've already talked about he like solo harassed a bit. Remember when we pointed out when he respawned, if you walked to lane, this would have taken 40 seconds, and he would have just gotten here. He'd be like right here right now if he had walked this whole time. Which means AM would have been by himself versus Mirana, which means Mirana as a ranged hero could have just hit AM a bunch on her own, so he would be really low health. And instead, Mirana got zone 2v1. This guy's going to get 4 last hits and 2 denies. See how different that lane is compared to if Warlock had just gotten here? It's a totally different lane at that point in this first wave. I think that's probably enough for this first teleport. Let's move on to the next one, which I totally did not already record, but without game audio. Here we are. It is 8 minutes later in the game before Insania ever has to teleport again. Part of that was his good laning. Part of that is that this hero is very good at not having to go back to base. I'll say that too. He never like walked back to base or anything and walked back. He's just been in lane the whole time. Now we're here, and it's finally going to be the next time we're going to see him teleport. Is it because he's dead? No. He survives a bit. Pay attention. They used all their spells. Or not all their spells, but of note, they missed arrow. They missed roll. And Fortune End did hit, but it is now on cooldown. That's Nature's Prophet. He's mid. He ran in here. Guess what we're going to see here? We're going to see... Let's actually go to Nature's Prophet perspective. We're about to see, if you watch the mechanics video in terms of body blocking and then also that pathway thing. Let's slow it down so we can see this. Oops. He wanted to walk in through here and chase that Warlock, but then accidentally ended up going around like this. Then realized he popped around here to look for... You could think of it both ways, actually. So you could say originally he tried to move in here and then decided, wait, I should just cut him off over here. This would be faster. And then when he popped in here, he realized, oh, Warlock did not come out. He is sitting in here or juking around this way. No, wait, I can see that he's not here. He must still be sitting inside here. So let me click inside to chase him. Ends up walking backwards again. This is all adding like minuscule amount of time, but it adds together to help Insania get away here. Now he finally casts Sprout, which is why he sees him, but it's too late. He finished teleport. That's 3 seconds. So let's see that again. I want that to be clear. Wait, let's go to his perspective again. Like, oops. Oh, he's not here. So that's how blocking the pathway was a pretty good idea for Insania. It's also pretty good because if he teleported out here in the open, this guy was mid, like, it would be a little close because at the time he did have like 600 health, but he does do like, that's a pretty solid chunk of damage each hit. I would say it probably takes him about 7 hits to kill Insania. So, plus if these guys added any instead of chasing this AM, that would have also probably been a kill. So you can't just teleport out here. That's why I think going in here was a very good decision because it makes use of that whole body blocking thing we talked about. Gets a little more space from these guys. Buy some time where he doesn't know where this Warlock is. Even if he didn't do that misclick stuff. Trying to come out here to cut him off and then realizing he's in there. All of that was buying some time. Now why did he teleport to the top lane? Right, many of us would have panicked and just teleported back to base. Which he would have survived, yes. So why did he come up here? He's not full health, but this is pretty good. Warlock has very good stats. So, like, he's at about half health, but that's still 560 HP. So he's not close to just dying, like, out of nowhere. He will survive for a little bit, plus he has the stick, plus he could heal himself if he really wanted to. In terms of mana, with his stick, he does have enough to cast both these spells. And in fact, by the time this is off cooldown, he will have regenerated enough mana to cast both. He saw 4 heroes come up here, which means a fight very well could break out. I don't know how they're communicating in this game, so maybe what they were calling or not. But Grimstroke is teleporting up here. And if you look at the cooldowns, Queen of Pain and Night Stalker could also teleport top if they wanted to. And being up here in a 5v4 fight, or even a 4v4 if only one of them came up, this spell, Fatal Bonds, is very powerful in that situation. And even if neither of these two come up, it's still a 3v4 with this Grimstroke here, rather than if he had TP to base, AM versus Grimstroke, that is a 2v2, or a 4v2, which definitely does not go well. Now, AM as well is the carry, so you want to stay near the carry. If he had teleported to base, he does have boots now, so let's cut it down to like 30 to 35 seconds it takes to walk back to lane. Like, in that whole time, it's a 4v2. That's kind of rough, right? So by teleporting here, he remains relevant in the fight that is quite possibly about to break out. And if we consider our next consideration, what do I need to do in 90 seconds? The time is 9:07, which means outposts and runes are about to spawn. And if he teleported to base, he would be close. He has boots. He could probably get here around the 10-minute mark. But at that point, the fight might be over, right? 4 heroes are still here, which means maybe they kill AM or Grimstroke if they choose to in that time. Is a solo Warlock really going to come up here and contest them for this outpost? No. But 3v4, maybe they can buy enough time for someone else to rotate in and keep this outpost. Let's go back to his perspective. That's kind of it on this one. We can see Grimstroke's going to die here momentarily. But because the others started to rotate in, the enemy team decides we're not going to stick around any longer, so they do successfully keep this outpost. I think that was worth it to teleport here to here. Sometimes you teleport very short distances in this game. This seems funny, right? From here to here, that would take like 10 seconds to walk. But 10 seconds, he'd be dead. Nature's Prophet chasing him, sprouting him, he'd be dead, right? If he tried to walk back to this tier 2 tower, Nature's Prophet would be running and hitting him, and then sprout him. Maybe someone else lands a spell at that point if he's like calling for them to chase, or maybe he just finishes right-clicking him down. That 10-second difference between either tower was too much time. 10 seconds means he's dead to Nature's Prophet. 3 seconds. 3 seconds was even close, right? Because this guy hit pretty hard. He had boots. He had attack speed. It was like, if I teleport here in the open, I might actually die in the 3 seconds it takes to teleport, which is why he had to come down here and do this little trick to buy a bit more time to then successfully teleport in those 3 seconds. So that is when it can feel very unintuitive to be literally here and then teleport here, especially to low level players. You know, that kind of thing only happens by accident, but sometimes that is necessary. I don't have this clip anymore, but I was in a game where I was Jakiro and I was trying to do a pull right here, and a Wraith King, my Wraith King, was right here. No, he's a little further out. He was like right here, and the offlaner and the support started to go on him, and I took a look and I was like, he is dead if I don't teleport, and I teleported from here to here because this walk is 7 seconds and this teleport is 3 seconds. So that 4 seconds did make we miraculously, I'm not just saying this, I swear it happened, and I'm not saying this because I just don't have proof. We got a double kill from that because I was able to dual breath both of them. I don't even remember what level I was on, but I know I was able to dual breath both, and I think liquid fire both. I don't know if I had my stun at that point. It was very early on in the game, and Wraith King I think had a couple skeletons, and he was just like running around healing up. I can't remember if I salved him or he salved himself, but it miraculously became a 2-for-0 trade for our favor, whereas he would have just died on his own if I had tried to walk. So sometimes making those very short teleports is necessary. And if I can say that, saying like being here 4 seconds faster can make a huge difference. Imagine, right, saving 30 seconds to be mid immediately, to be able to teleport here in 3 seconds as opposed to like 30 seconds to walk. Like imagine how much time the difference 30 seconds could make if 4 seconds can make the difference between a double kill or losing my carry. I'm not trying to brag there, a little bit maybe, but I am trying to paint the significance of what this teleport does for us, where sometimes we have to use it very short, sometimes we have to be ready to use it very far, but it means something. That instant response, that 3 seconds, I can be here, I can be, well, if I'm Radiant, I can be here, I can be here, I can be here. 6 seconds, I could be in this area. Like 3 seconds for any of these. Like I can be there to help you guys. That is what this teleport scroll is. That's why we ask ourselves these questions. Like, what do I have to do in the next 90 seconds? And what do I have to do right now? I had to teleport here right now because this guy is dead. If I am not here, 4 seconds is too long. Insania up here, I have to teleport here. Otherwise, I am dead. I must teleport. And I'm going to teleport here. Like, this is the next level. It's like, I'm going to teleport here as opposed to Fountain because now I will be able to contribute in this fight that's coming up at this important time. Now, that part is a little harder to do on the fly. If I was Insania, I totally would have panicked and just teleported to Fountain. I'm not going to lie. I know my place. I am low immortal, barely. You know, Insania's up here competing for TI. So Insania, next level player, comes up here to be ready. Like, I put that second consideration of knowing where you have to be in the next 90 seconds. I can do that when it's, like, calm and peaceful. When someone's killing me, I am going to Fountain out of habit. So that's something I have to work on. But yeah, let's go look for another one. Since we've been trying to focus on the early laning stage, I figured let's move on from Insania's game because it was already 10 minutes around that point. We're taking a look at AUI this time, playing Jakiro here. So, we're going to see a couple more things of interest. Get going a bit. So they go to fight this rune, realize, oh no, there's 3 people here. Goes for this rune. Is trying to help him out, realizes, you know what, he's dead. I've cast my dual breath. Let me at least go get this other rune while he's buying space. Also noteworthy, remember how we talked about itemization? We got the stick against Bristleback. I was right. Anyways, let's continue. Why does he teleport from here to here? Why not just walk? Well, we did just see our carry die here. And if we think about what they're going to do, in fact, we can see what they're going to do. He's walking back mid. He's walking here. He's walking here. They very much could have killed him if he tried to just walk back. And once they catch up to him, because he has disruption, they have a way to cancel teleport. So if he tries to just run back and then he runs into Bristleback and Disruptor, he only has 290 move speed. Disruptor, or I'm sorry, what did I call it? This is since even from the hero pool video. Disruption, Shadow Demon. He has boots, so this guy, Bristleback, 290, but they have a movement speed slow. So let's say he tried to run back this way. Shadow Demon would have caught him. Bristleback would have turned around. They kill him. They chase him. They slow him. If he tries to TP at this point, he'll get canceled, and then they kill him. Tries to run back this way. He's running this way. He's going to run into Jakiro, and then he's going to slow him. It would take him about 10, 15 seconds to run back here. And in that time, with this movement speed slow, he may not die, but he's going to take a lot of damage for it. Same with Shadow Demon. Same deal with the teleport cancel. Like if he runs into him here, tries to teleport, he might make it in time to disrupt. So teleporting up here is very safe. Get back to lane, and it has to be in lane because the creeps are about to meet, and my carry is still dead. There's no need for me to teleport back to Fountain. Me speaking for, AUI here as Jakiro. There's no need for me to teleport back because I'm just missing mana, and I have a clarity. And like we talked about, this guy's dead. So what is Jakiro going to do? He's going to ask his carry, hey, can you bring me some items? And I think the way he does it actually is he had the items on his courier. I don't think we can see him use his courier from this replay. But he had him put the items here. This is Ursa's perspective. He's going to give the items to Jakiro. And that kind of fits like some of the other stuff we talked about. And then he obviously had to teleport to lane. I know we're position 5 guide, but he had to teleport to lane because, he's got to get these last hits. All right, let's go look for the next teleport. Actually, I should finish the full explanation. Let's think about our considerations again. Why did I need to teleport right now? Well, he was going to die. Like we said, this part, once a Shadow Demon's there, he can no longer teleport and he would die. You don't want to die at this point, so teleporting to lane would be good. The creeps were about to meet, so he wants to be there for that. And then thinking about the next 90 seconds, you do have to be careful. Because his teleport's on cooldown, if he were to die again now, this could be bad because he can no longer teleport back to lane. So once you use your teleport, you do have to be a little cautious. And let's take a look at what he gets done in this laning stage. Like, what would have happened if he wasn't here? What if he had teleported to Fountain and then walked back? He would have wasted a lot of time just doing that. Ursa would have been solo against Bristleback and this Shadow Demon. Let's see. Shadow Demon's going to pull. Is he going to make it in time to try to stop him? He was hoping to draw the aggro of some of those creeps, but looks like he missed his chance. So he could have tried to stop the pull. Unfortunately, it seems like he does not get that much done at this time. But he was there for the beginning a bit. At this point, he's trying to harass. He probably could have done this even if he had walked. So in this particular instance, not that much got done. But I still think it's okay because this is the time period where a lot needs to happen, right? What if he was able to disrupt this pull? That would have been pretty big. It's not so much that the teleport was bad. It was more like, it was a bit unfortunate with his positioning and what the Shadow Demon was doing. Because they don't have a ward down here, he didn't know where Shadow Demon was. And Shadow Demon was able to get off this pull, which was a good play from Shadow Demon. But being here, he technically had the chance to slow that down by harassing or trying to, disrupt that pull, which he definitely would not have had the chance to if he had teleported to base and walked, or not teleported, something like that. So I still think teleporting was the correct decision, even if in the end he wasn't able to get too much done with it. Okay, now let's move on and look for a new teleport. Here we are about to have probably our last example of teleporting, taking a look at this stuff for now. I want you to note, he is looking top, or he looked top, and decided not to respond. He could have, but he chose that this wasn't worth it. I still want to be down here a little longer. What would he do if he was top right now, right? This guy was close to dying, but in the end, he wasn't needed. Nature's Prophet cleaned it up. That's a pretty tough call to make, I think. Knowing whether to teleport here in this case. I don't know how he completely decided it, right? I don't know if they're talking or whatnot. But ultimately, this is probably the correct decision where they just got a double kill without him. What could possibly be better if he went? A doubler kill? Like, no. And is he really needed to push his tower? Not really. Nature's Prophet, fantastic at that on his own. So, I think he valued being able to continue harassing this guy a little longer than to show up top. He's going to get this courier kill here. Now, what if he had teleported top at that time? So 7 minutes and 30 seconds. Let's pay attention to that time. Now, what does he get done in the meantime from top lane? Or, like, from this side here? And would he be able to respond to anything while his TP was on cooldown? So he is going to get to chase this Bristleback out now. Bristleback had to leave lane for a bit. Here's him checking high ground. We discussed that a bit. He's going to get the illusion. He's going to come push mid a little bit because his team is pushing up here. He's got one guy dead. So right now they are splitting the map relatively well. Ursa is now okay on his own for the most part. But what if Ursa gets ganked? You need to be ready to help him. It's the hard support's job. So although he is okay on his own, that does not mean we teleport to the mid lane to farm this. It does not mean we teleport to the top lane to go assist them in that fight necessarily, or to just like be top. Right now, AUI knows I should be in the top lane. We haven't fully covered why he knows that yet, but I'll give you the sneak peek here. Bottom lane is 1. Ursa is okay on his own. That means I'm no longer needed here. I don't necessarily get mid now because I have a mid laner still who wants this farm. It is now time to go make plays top and try to take that tower. That is why AUI is going there, but he's not going to teleport there. He's walking up, taking a bit more time, but he is keeping his teleport available to help his Ursa at any time it's needed. If they started a gank right now, I can be there. In 1 minute, hint, hint, 1 minute's time, I will be there. But yeah, that's the whole point. What would he have done up here, right? If he had TP'd earlier, they would have won that fight. But what would he do? He would not be able to assist bottom. And he's like really not needed top. Like they're doing fine top for the most part. That just happened to be like a pretty close moment there. Now he is running top. He's getting D wards. And now, look at that. A fight breaks out. I'm here. Unfortunately, this guy gets glimpsed out. Like, look how close this fight is. It probably would have resulted a little bit better. It would have had better results if this guy didn't get glimpsed out. And that would have made this example great. So it is a little, like, awkward where it's like, this is why you save TP to come join a losing fight. Yeah! But really, that is, it is what it is. Where TPing down here is the correct decision to help out your Ursa, and that it was very close to being able to actually turn the fight in their favor. Part of that is because if you lose a fight here too badly, it's 10 minutes, they're going to get this outpost. And if I was him and I didn't teleport, like if Ursa was dead for sure, you're definitely running to theirs to get it. And I kind of feel like that's what these guys should be doing, but whatever. But then thinking about the last video about when is it okay to die as a position 5, if he comes to this fight, I mean, he did come to this fight, and let's say he died 4 for 2. They would have to spend more time trying to kill him. It's buying space. They're dedicating 4 heroes, 5 heroes. What is this? 5 heroes down here to get this tower and possibly this Jakiro kill. His team is jungling. His team is getting the top tower. So in terms of trading towers, the teams are doing the same thing, but they are using 5 heroes to do it. Their Jakiro's team is only using 2. You're getting more gold overall from having a jungler and from these 2 splitting creep waves versus 5 heroes splitting creep waves. Let's see if they're even going to dive him with these 5 heroes, actually. Let's watch a little more. It looks like they are. This is a great example. Totally fine to die in this case. They've split up a bit more, but all 5 heroes are down here. 3 heroes. This guy committed his ult, almost died for it. These guys are all so close to dying for it. Nature's Prophet could be about to get a kill here. He's looking around. But in that time, they got top tower. This tower's not even dead yet. Fantastic. Good job. Died for the team. Died for the cause. Let's see if they even get this tower. Look how low all of them are. Crazy. Comes back down here. Oh, he did look for the kills. Unfortunate. He didn't find him. But that was a great example, I think. We saw why it's okay to die, when it's okay, why it's okay to walk everywhere, save your teleport. That is the big thing. What AUI did here is kind of what a lot of you need to do, is just walk places. Walk to your lanes. Sometimes it's okay to teleport. Your default should be to walk, and your, like, exception, I guess, is to teleport. So you should always ask yourself, why am I not just walking here? And if you have a reason, like, oh, I need to save Ursa, I'll teleport. When you're done laning in the bottom, and it's like, can I TP mid to farm this wave? Wait a minute, why aren't I just walking there? What would I miss out on? If it's a huge wave that's going to do a lot of damage to my tower, and we're going to lose a lot of golden experience, that might be worth teleporting to. But if it's out here and I have time to walk, and I would only miss, say, 1 or 2 CS, why don't I just walk there? And so that I'll be ready to TP down here. They almost turned that fight, right? Just the 3 of them, and really just the 2 of them, because Nature's Prophet got glimpsed back out. They almost got that, several kills off of that, by being ready to teleport. And then he walked up here, he got all these D wards, he never TP'd needlessly, right? Why would he TP mid? What is his immediate, I need to do this right now? I need to TP mid so I can farm 4 creeps? Does that make much sense? Or does I need to TP right here to fight 4 heroes and possibly get this huge turnaround? That sounds a lot better. Do I need to TP top and do the same thing all my other teammates are already getting done without me? No, not really. Or can I just walk there and then do the same thing they're all doing, but I'll have my teleport ready to go bottom? I think that's it. I think that's good enough for this video. If you guys want more examples, we can definitely do that. And I think we will see some in the replay analysis. I need to learn how to say that word properly, I feel like. But we're going to cover... what's next? I think after this, we're back into laning. We're laning about the first minute. And then we might do another replay analysis or two to apply those concepts of what to do when you're dead, what to do before the horn. Was that out? Yeah, okay. That was not out when we did the last replay analysis, I think. So we'll cover that. We'll cover before the horn, what to do when you're dead, itemization, or sorry, not itemization, teleporting, and then the first minute, and then we'll do a replay analysis. Yeah, that's the plan. Thank you for watching. Have a great day, or night, whatever time it is.